Tourist dies after being hit by departing plane's jet blast. A New Zealand woman vacationing in St. Maarten had her life cut short when a commercial plane engine literally blew her away. On July 12th, the 57-year-old woman was at the famous Maho Beach, waiting for a plane to take off by the fenced area surrounding Juliana International Airport. People regularly crowd the area to feel the full power of a jet blast from departing planes, ignoring warning signs posted to deter them from doing so. Around 6 p.m., a Boeing 737 took flight overhead. Though she clung to the fence for dear life, the overwhelming blast of the jet engine knocked the woman to the pavement and instantly rendered her unconscious. Witnesses tried desperately to wake her, but her injuries were too severe to overcome. She was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The island's director of tourism spoke with the fence-surfing woman's family, who acknowledged they should have heeded the warning signs. Thrill seekers, please take note. The sign's there for a reason.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Problems surrounding jet engines make the news sometimes.
Air India technician dies after being sucked into engine. An Air India service engineer was killed when he was sucked into the engine of an aircraft at Mumbai Airport on Wednesday night. Air India Flight 619 en route to Hyderabad from Mumbai was being pushed back from the parking bay before takeoff. At around 8:40 p.m., an eyewitness said it appeared the co-pilot mistook a signal as clearance for departure and started the engine. A service engineer who was standing nearby and supervising the pullback was pulled into the engine and died instantly. The technician, identified as Ravi Subramanian, was in his 50s. His job included disconnecting the pushcart from the aircraft before it moves towards the runway. Sources said the A319 aircraft's auxiliary power unit was not working. Without the APU system, one of the engines must be started with an external power source before the pushback. Once the aircraft is pushed back, the live engine has to be revved up for the other engine to start. Air India chairman Ashwani Lohani described the accident as a mishap, but it's not yet clear what happened. The incident is under investigation.
Icing on engines may have caused AirAsia Flight 8501 to go down. The Wall Street Journal reports that many air safety experts have said that unreliable airspeed sensors stemming from ice accumulation or other flight control difficulties could have contributed to a series of events causing AirAsia Flight QZ8501 to disappear from radar before going down. An Indonesian report says AirAsia Flight QZ8501 likely flew into storm clouds that caused icing and damage to the jet's engines. Icing occurs when moisture in the air turns into tiny ice crystals that can be sucked into an aircraft's engine. Large amounts of ice that melts inside engines can flood the ignition system, or it can freeze again and break into chunks that can damage the plane's turbine blades. However, the Wall Street Journal reports that General Electric and U.S. safety regulators say that such core engine icing has never caused a crash, and since 2008, a series of software adjustments basically solved the issue.
Singapore Airlines flight lands on runway and catches fire. During the early morning hours of June 27th, a Singapore Airlines flight to Milan found itself in a scary situation. Roughly 2 hours into the journey, the 222 passengers and 19 crew members on board the Boeing 777 were notified by the pilot of an engine oil warning message, which would force the plane to have to turn back to Singapore. As the pilot was making an emergency landing at Changi Airport, suddenly the plane's right engine burst into flames. Fire crews rushed to douse the fire as passengers could only watch from their seats, trapped on board. Many have been reported as saying they felt they were about to die. Luckily, within minutes, the fire was extinguished, with no injuries to report. Passengers safely disembarked from the plane and were put on a new flight to Italy a few hours later.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
A Southwest Airlines jet struck a bird shortly after departing but safely returned without injuries. The plane was carrying 124 passengers and was departing for Chicago from Raleigh-Durham International Airport before it struck a bird shortly afterwards. The crew shut down the affected engine and immediately returned and landed safely back at the airport. The plane has since been taken out of service for inspection and any necessary repairs.